Hey there guys, Unofficial Star Wars here, hope you're all doing well, and in today's video we have the Book of Boba Fett Episode 2 breakdown and review, thoughts and opinions, and some theories towards the end of the video, so make sure you guys are staying tuned for that. Without further ado, we're going to jump right on into it. Of course, spoilers ahead, obviously. This here was an absolute amazing episode, even better than the first one. Not that the first episode was bad or anything, but the first episode did get a lot of backlash from various news sources and actual fans themselves as well. I can't really exactly tell you what these fans or these news sources exactly didn't like about the first episode of the Book of Boba Fett, because it's the first episode and it's supposed to be really just setting up stuff, and that's exactly what it did. I have my entire review and breakdown on it here on the channel. Go check it out if you haven't already. Aside from that, today's video is about Episode 2. We leave off exactly pretty much where we left off in the previous episode, with Fennec Shand bringing back one of the Nightwind assassins to now Boba's palace. We get a little bit of an explanation of who the Nightwind are exactly later on in this episode, but essentially they're assassins, and they were essentially just sent, presumably by the mayor, as this one assassin does say, but we later learn that this is actually technically false. And he tells him this after they sent him into the pit where the Rancor used to be, as we do see in Return of the Jedi. An absolutely amazing and comedic callback towards the Return of the Jedi. I felt like this overall episode had a lot of comedy and a lot of action in it overall. Some of that comedy actually matched the same level, I feel like, as some Marvel movies actually, which is really fun. They bring the prisoner or the assassin now to the mayor in a comedic type of fashion here, with having a wait list and all of that type of stuff, and they learn that the mayor indeed did not send this assassin, and that the assassin had lied, and then they shoot and kill the assassin, as he's not supposed to be operating outside of what is called Hutt space. And because the Hutts no longer rule Tatooine, they are not allowed to be sending assassins around to assassinate people. The mayor offers advice as his tribute to Boba Fett, and tells him that it's much more difficult to be running a family, as in a syndicate in this case, as in he's owning now Jabba's palace, or now Boba's palace, than it is to run a bounty hunting business. He then tells Boba and Fennec Shand to go to the sanctuary, as we did see in episode 1, to learn of what he speaks of. And apparently, somehow, everybody in Mos Espa knows about this except for Fennec and Boba, as they later do hear the sound of the beating drums of the litter that is to be presumably the twins or the cousins of Jabba the Hutt, to come and reclaim their throne as Hutts and take over Jabba's palace. It's definitely really cool to see the Hutts make a comeback and a return in the Star Wars universe, and in this case to return for their throne and Jabba's palace here is definitely going to be an ongoing situation here that we're going to be seeing throughout this entirety of the series. They can't just go up and kill them, because you have to actually get permission, as Fennec Shand does say, by these other syndicates and crime lord bosses. However, in my opinion, the big reveal with really Black Krrsantan, this Black Wookiee that we do get to see in the Book of Boba Fett, he is most famously seen in War of the Bounty Hunters and Star Wars comics, and a little bit of a backstory on this overall character. He's easily one of the most feared bounty hunting Wookiees out there in the Star Wars universe. Him and Boba Fett actually had a team up, as we do see in War of the Bounty Hunter comics as well. So with that, this leads me to believe and hope that we'll have a Bossk and Boba team up to take down Black Krrsantan if he's working for the Hutts here. Black Krrsantan has actually fought some of the most feared Jedi and Sith Lords out there, including Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi. However, that's something I plan to deep dive into a later video, so make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel and hit the notification bell if you haven't already. After this entire sequence, we get more flashbacks, which a lot of people are kind of iffy on, with these overall flashbacks taking up so much time within this overall show and playing such a significant role in this overall show. For me, however, personally, it's something I really like. In the flashbacks, we get a recap here of Boba training with these Tuskens and developing a relationship with them. However, trouble soon arrives, as in the distance we see a train coming their way, and as the train gets closer and closer, it begins to shoot at these Tuskens, attacking them for pretty much no reason. And after all their casualties and loss, Boba tells the head chief of the Tusken tribe that he wants to go and actually take down this train, and taking a staff and a rifle, he goes to the one and only Tashi Station, hunting down this biker gang that we saw in episode 1. He, of course, is here to beat these guys up and take their bikes because he's going to be needing them to take down this train here that keeps attacking the Tuskens. And this overall sequence of him being at this bar, this is actually Tashi Station, as I had mentioned, as we do see this in deleted scenes that you actually can find here on YouTube. The interior of this overall quote-unquote bar is actually Tashi Station because it matches directly with the inside of the deleted scenes of Tashi Station that we do see here in deleted scenes of A New Hope. Furthermore, these two characters here that we get to see in Tashi Station, Cammy and Laz, are actually friends of Luke's from deleted scenes of A New Hope as well. It's definitely an undoubtedly a really cool, small, and not really too small, but really cool detail that we get here in the book of Boba Fett here. Small, but definitely really cool. On top of getting to see these two characters and Tashi Station here in live action, or much rather a canon universe of the book of Boba Fett and within the Star Wars universe, we get another awesome action-packed sequence of Boba Fett going absolutely berserk and beating the crap of pretty much everybody in this bar. It reminded me heavily of what we got to see in The Mandalorian Season 2 when he shows up and beats the crap out of all these stormtroopers. Of course, after this amazing sequence and action-packed scene here, he takes these riders' bikes and takes them back to the Tusken village, where he then goes on to teach these Tuskens how to use and ride and maneuver around on these bikes in order to take down the train. Not only is it good overall world building, but it's also great character development that we get to see between all these different characters here and how he's really becoming one with these Tuskens and teaching them how to use these bikes. It really helps with his bonding and really all of these overall characters, and he's really the only one that's actually like able to talk, so it's really all just like visual storytelling, which is something I'm a huge fan of. When the time comes around once again, the train makes its run, attacking the Tuskens, and the Tuskens are this time prepared in order to attack back, as Boba and some of the riding Tuskens come out and ambush this train, catching up with it and jumping onto it and taking it down. And let me just say for the record, I never thought I would really be this sad in seeing a Tusken Raider die. After the train, of course, is taken down, we learn that these are Pikes. The Pike Syndicate is seen in the Clone Wars and have heavy correlations with Crimson Dawn at some points and times. Whether or not that there is a very well kind of hint here that we could very well see Crimson Dawn pop up, or at least have another mention of some type here later on in the Book of Boba Fett series, is completely unknown and kind of just out of my hands of knowing whether or not we're going to be seeing any of that type of stuff. I definitely think it would be really cool, and I'll continue to kind of make videos and theorize on that in upcoming videos here. Boba Fett tells that the Pikes have to pay a toll or a fee whenever they pass through the Dune Sea here in order to protect the Tusken Raiders, as now the Tusken Raiders will in order to protect the Pikes, and it was really overall just a complete misunderstanding, seeing that the Pikes were defending themselves, thinking that the Tusken Raiders are complete animals and that they would automatically attack them for absolutely no reason. And furthermore, we then go on to learn after this entire sequence, we go into a different sequence where all the Tusken Raider tribe is underneath a tent here, and we learn of these different tribes of the Tusken Raiders. This is something that I have kind of known about a little bit loosely here and there, because these ones are a whole lot more civilized than what we saw in Attack of the Clones here when they attacked Anakin Skywalker's mother, and from what we see in A New Hope when they're attacking Luke Skywalker. In this scene, the Tusken leader offers a gift here to Boba, and in this case, it's a lizard. I thought it was kind of weird and kind of funny, and it brings up kind of that Marvel cinematic kind of comedy that we've never really seen within the Star Wars universe. Star Wars has always been something a lot more serious in terms of the cinematic universes and really the overall movie universes, and this is something that the Book of Boba Fett has kind of brought to light here, is that it can be funny here and there when the time is appropriate. Star Wars has always been thought a lot more serious and a whole lot more action-packed, centered, kind of focused in those types of terms, comparing it to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And in that type of terminology there, if you guys are into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I'll have my Marvel page and YouTube linked down in the description down below. After the Tusken Chief gives Boba Fett the lizard here, the lizard seemingly crawls up his nose, and then we go into a trippy sequence here with the lizard as it brings him towards his flashbacks and his overall past, dealing with his past demons, as a lot of fans are so calling it in this type of terminology. We see more flashbacks here of a young Boba Fett with Daniel Logan's face over it. I'm assuming it's digitally created, as many other Star Wars fans in the community are also assuming, and it looks absolutely amazing. Does not disappoint. It's very cool to see Kamino once again, last seen in the Bad Batch when it's getting destroyed. We see Boba find a tree here in the middle of the desert where he's fighting off his demons here and is seemingly being tangled up into this tree here, much like he was tangled up into the Sarlacc pit, where he eventually is able to break free, quote unquote, in some type of metaphorically way that he's able to essentially defeat his demons in this type of matter, and he takes a stick with him, as we then see him traveling through the desert here back to the Tuscan village here with a stick here at this point. From there, after giving this stick here to the Tuscans, they take it and then they wrap him up into the robes that we actually get to see him in The Mandalorian Season 2. So with that, I'm going to theorize that we're getting close to the end of these flashback sequences. From there, he's probably going to be leaving the Tuscans in episode 3. Just a little bit of a theory to throw out there. I'm going to elaborate more in a separate video. After receiving his own robes here, he goes to create his own staff slash stick, whatever you really want to call it. And after that, they pretty much all go and dance around this fire, kind of vibing in this type of way, I guess, if you want to say. And this is essentially the way of the Tuscans taking Boba as one of their own at this point in time. Tuscan Raiders are claiming him as one of their own. It definitely feels very heartfelt with this overall relationship that we've seen Boba Fett create with these Tuscan Raiders throughout these last 2 episodes, and I'm very happy with how this overall episode turned out. An easy 10 out of 10 in my book, of course. Had tons of action, lure, world building, character development, you name it, it was there. Meanwhile, at the same time, there's a lot to say about this overall episode. There just really isn't a lot to say about this overall episode. It was pretty straightforward. It created a lot of details and ties in with the comics as well. And for A New Hope, it also ties in a lot there as well, which is something I'm very happy with that we got to see here in the Star Wars universe. As far as theories goes, as I had mentioned before, I definitely think that we're going to get more of a mention with Crimson Dawn here appearing somewhere within this overall series. Whether or not they're going to be playing a significant role or not, kind of unknown and up in the air. I think that we could very well see Kira at the same time if we're going to be having a Crimson Dawn mention or something like that with them appearing at some point in time. It would definitely be really, really cool. And as far as theories go back with the flashbacks here, I'm pretty sure that Boba's time here with the Tuscan Raiders are up, and they're going to essentially let him fly from the nest here, and he's going to go on to be Boba Fett on his own here at this point in time, as we would see him in The Mandalorian Season 1 go and pick up Fennec Shand after she is shot. And probably somewhere between or after the matter, he's going to go back to Jabba the Hutt's palace to reclaim the Slave One, where we'll finally get to see it once again, and it's definitely going to be really awesome. This shot also remains to be one of the only ones that is left from any of the TV spots and trailers that we just haven't seen yet, so pretty much everything in episode 3, aside from that scene when they're sitting at the table there with all other crime lords and all of that type of stuff going on, everything that's going to be seen here in episode 3 is presumably going to be completely brand new and unseen footage before. Guys, this episode had a lot of stuff going on, guys, and I absolutely loved every single minute of it, guys. Let me know all of your thoughts and opinions on today's video here and in today's episode breakdown here. What was your favorite part of this overall episode, and what are you guys hoping to see in episode 3? Let me know all of your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section down below. I'd absolutely love to hear what you guys all think. Drop a like on the video if you did enjoy it, as it really does help the channel, and check out Instagram, unofficial Star Wars, for more Star Wars related content, guys. Thanks so much for watching today's video. Of course, as always, may the Force be with you. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.